Hello and welcome to the second episode of Second Take Movies. My name is Preston Jenkinson. I'm your host, and with me again is Will Huff. Will, how are we doing?
Oh man, I'm ready for an awesome conversation.
In this episode, we're talking about the second movie in the prequel trilogy, Attack of the Clones.
The second best.
Yeah, and I...
We disagree already.
Hate this movie.
Folks, this is going to be a good episode.
From the cringy dialogue to, again, the Anakin being super freaking creepy.
Little flirty, you know, he's got the
That's not flirty.
The teenage hormones going on. There's some creepiness there. I will admit. But man, it's a good movie.
Where do we start?
Oh,
in the beginning? Let me pull up a synopsis.
Let's do it.
Of this one. 10 years after initially meeting, Anakin Skywalker shares a forbidden romance with Padme Amidala, while Obi-Wan Kenobi investigates an assassination attempt on the senator and discovers a secret clone army crafted for the Jedi.
Wow.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going... I mean, Lucas, Phantom Menace, there was a lot that one could argue was wasted time.
Yeah.
Because he then has to cram so much plot into this movie to propel it forward. It is a packed movie. But man, it's good. I mean, I think one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars is the chase scene in Coruscant with the ships, the flying cars.
That the one real car that's just sitting on like a bull riding mechanism that...
Dude, it is so
cool. That gif of Ian McGregor just...
It is so cool, but...
It's not.
But, okay, start me from the beginning.
You open up with the typical Star Wars crawl.
Yeah.
It says some things.
Should I read it?
Go for it.
There is unrest in the Galactic Senate. Several thousand solar systems have declared their intentions to leave the Republic. The Separatist movement, under the leadership of the mysterious Count Dooku, has made it difficult for the limited number of Jedi Knights to maintain peace and order in the galaxy. Senator Amidala, the former Queen of Naboo, is returning to the Galactic Senate to vote on the critical issue of creating an army of the Republic to assist the overwhelmed Jedi. Wow. Okay, well, that kind of answers our question from the last episode of why Lucas introduced the Separatist thing and how it really is an important pawn throughout the prequels. The vessel through which
so he basically
Palpatine
creates an enemy so that the Senate will have to fight because the Senate doesn't have an army.
Their focus is moved from inside to outside.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not advocating for these philosophies, but they're following the Stoic kind of Eastern philosophy.
Yeah.
That is, you know, be not concerned with the outside.
Yeah.
It's about inward, you know, moving inward, this enlightenment, this peace with oneself. And that's really the only way to have peace or to control oneself. So he's drawing their attention outside of the dysfunction within the council, within the Republic, to this outside enemy, this outside force. And I think that's where it all falls apart.
And that's a note that I took. They mention, I think even Yoda mentions at some point in this movie, the dark side clouds everything. That like there's something we can't see.
Yes.
Maybe look into it.
Exactly.
If you're that alert that, oh, hey, something's clouding my force vision over here. Shouldn't we we can't see something. I wonder why. But no, we're just gonna sit in this tower.
Yep.
And pontificate.
Oh my goodness.
And meditate.
Dude, I'm sorry for continuing to do this, but even just the symbolic nature of that tower being above
it's the tallest tower in Coruscant.
Yes,
looks like it.
You know, it's
the temple
kind of,
itself.
It's a temple, but they're removed from the people.
Yeah,
they're very removed from the people, emotionally, I think, and maybe in understanding. And that's where Anakin, he kind of sticks out like a sore thumb in the Jedi Temple because, he didn't grow up in that.
Right.
It's not his world from the beginning. He grew up as
pretty much every other Padawan at this point, that's all they know. Really, that's all they remember is the Jedi Temple.
Exactly.
So they're not all as cocky or self-assured as he is.
He's more human, He fights with his heart, and
with his master.
Yes.
Just in the middle of a meeting.
Get right.
Oh, we'll figure it out. And Obi-Wan's like,
yeah.
What? He's like, it's implied in our mandate, master. Jedi security is overkill. It's implied in our mandate that we figure out what's going on.
You are out of line, son.
Master.
Obey your father.
Yeah.
But one last thing about that.
Uh-huh.
The fact that Anakin is the best pilot in the galaxy. The fact that he's a pilot at all is even just his solidarity, his with the people, with, I shouldn't even say humanity, with like the regular people.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Jedi don't fly.
Yeah.
They get flown places.
Yeah.
They are royalty, essentially. They're looked up to as these religious figures.
Yeah.
All right, I like these movies. But where you help me, Preston, is, you kind of help me see maybe some of the technical or filmmaking things that are not good about these movies. I kind of get caught up in the plot, maybe.
I think you
get
caught up in the themes.
Yes. I can't help it.
I mean, that's part of a movie, but
yeah, I do.
That can ruin your story if everything else isn't up to snuff.
Well, yes, if it's not told well, because so much of a story, however good it is, is how you tell it.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to admit to you something.
Oh boy.
I do think these prequels could have told the story a little bit better.
Oh yeah, you think? Yeah. This is what happens when you have a man that's already made billions of dollars off of his IP, and then he has a bunch of yes men around him, and he's in charge of everything.
He can just do whatever he wants.
Yeah. It's like nobody in the editing room was like, you don't think you could have got a second take on that? Because that's really what, I hate to keep going back to the original trilogy, but that's what saved those movies.
What happened?
George Lucas is not a collaborative filmmaker.
Yeah.
They had to convince him from making 3PO a sleazy car salesman. Someone had to come in and do that.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
His ex-wife had to basically take over the edit for the movie. And I don't care what anyone says, Lawrence Kasdan came in and did a second pass on that movie, I believe. And he, in my opinion, he created Han Solo.
Wow.
George Lucas might have had a name. Yeah. Lawrence Kasdan made Han Solo.
Yeah. And Harrison Ford.
Oh, there's no Han Solo without Harrison Ford.
I mean, he it's his line in Empire Strikes Back where he says, I know, instead of I love you.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, brilliant. He was like...
And if you're a fan of this movie like Will is...
I am.
And this is your favorite movie, not a personal attack. Just two people taking a subjective look at art.
I take it personally.
Or objective.
And you better watch it. Just kidding. I think this is... Okay. I know I'm jumping ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the coolest Star Wars movie.
Okay.
It is just cool. Jango Fett, and Obi-Wan, and there's this planet, and it's raining.
You mean the father of already at this point the most overrated Star Wars character?
Boba Fett?
Yes.
Boba is overrated because he's like in nothing.
The first time I even thought that Boba Fett was cool was in The Mandalorian in season 2.
Jango has more screen time than
Boba Fett, and has more dialogue.
He has a richer character, more interesting character.
In the first 10 minutes of The Mandalorian, that character has more dialogue than Boba Fett in the first 10 minutes of the first episode.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like I never understood. Anyway, there's a Jango. Okay, so Jedi. We're at this point Padme is just asleep in a room. Jedi are looking out. Oh, and George Lucas gives us the finger one last time with Jar Jar. Jar Jar just at in the end of one of the scenes just friggin' looks at the camera. It's like, I'm still here. Like it's almost like if you go back and watch it, it basically is just giving us the finger. Like, I'm still going to be in this.
Yeah. Listen to the fans, Lucas.
Yeah. All right. So there's a good reason the Jedi are there because it turns out there is going to be an assassination attempt. And it's done with a robot drilling a hole in the glass. Or I think just separating the glass with like a hologram something or other at one point.
Yeah. And
throwing 2 slugs in there. My thought is, you've got the glass open at this point. Why not just put a laser or something on the robot?
And just shoot her.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's going to know she's been assassinated anyway.
Wait, why were they trying to assassinate her?
She was coming back for some vote or on something that the Senate is doing. I don't... Because it actually opens up with her flying in, and she's got a decoy, and then the ship explodes.
Yes. So
that's how we know there's an assassination attempt. Somebody's trying to kill her.
That's right.
That's how we find out. I skipped over that part. I guess I'm trying to block out this movie. And so a chase ensues. Obi-Wan and Anakin. That's a theme in this movie. Anakin and Obi-Wan arguing.
Yes.
Anytime, the limited screen time they have together is just them
in conflict,
bickering at each other.
Yeah.
Because in the middle of an argument, they're like, "Oh, I sense it too," and because there's 2 little poisonous slugs who have managed to avoid the scans that R2 is doing of the room. And
is that a sign of brothers that have fought alongside each other for 10 years now, have learned from one another? Because it's a brother relationship. It's not a father-son thing.
Right.
Qui-Gon was the closest thing, I think, Anakin had to a father.
Yeah.
Is it more realistic that they're fighting all the time, but they still are such good partners because, like you said, in a moment, it's like, I sense it too.
Yeah.
And they're beyond even having to, they communicate so quickly to each other.
Because they've probably slept in the same area for the last 10 years and been on the same ship. And,
oh my gosh, Obi-Wan's the annoying older brother that's always telling him to stay in line, and Anakin's the little brother that is always embarrassing him in front of his, his friends. and that's what gets me is he's telling them to have patience all the time and to be cool. Yeah. And
then Obi-Wan's the one that jumps out the window and holds on to the droid.
Well, there's the exactly.
He's talking about how impulsive Anakin is all the time, and that unless that's just how they operate. I mean, I don't know.
So that raises a good point. There's a lot of inconsistency within the Jedi. They don't really follow their code. They talk a big talk.
They're people.
They're people. Exactly. It's an ideal they're striving for.
Yeah.
But they don't hold up to it.
Right. A chase ensues.
It's so cool.
Fakest.
It's so freaking cool.
Looking thing I've ever seen.
Dude, I remember being
and for some reason...
I remember being 9 and just playing with my little toys, always doing that scene. Always that scene.
At this point, I think I'm in the 7th grade. This was 2002? It is 2002.
Did you like it the first time you saw it?
Here's the thing with me in movies. Okay. Here's the thing.
Yes.
When it's something I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Like a Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'll be the first time I sit down to watch it and I'm really excited. So the first time I watch a movie, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson at the time of recording was just on Loki. Wow.
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 And
I haven't seen it yet.
So it's not till maybe the 2nd or 3rd, because if I'm watching it in the theater, there's a good chance that I've rented it or bought it in the future.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it at home without the
excitement, you're not just
the experience of the theater,
Coke and popcorn,
and it's like, oh yeah, that doesn't make sense. So probably at this point, my 12 or 13-year-old brain probably did like it. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I just know it. I think it was in my 20s in college when I was watching these movies again. I'm like,
I realized that there was a lot.
Oh, this is bad.
So the bad acting is distracting. It takes away its.
And there's a really good documentary.
Yeah.
About the prequels. It's full of a lot of people like you. And one of their arguments for one of the cringy lines we'll get to at the cringiest line in all of cinema.
The sand.
No.
Oh, okay. That one's really bad.
That one's bad.
I hate sand.
Hate
It
sand.
gets everywhere.
It covers everywhere. I can't. It's coarse, hot. It gets everywhere. They attribute it to like these. They say like the acting style was meant to mimic like these movies from like the overacting of the 20s and the 30s.
Huh.
And like these dramas from then, and I'm like, well, that's cool.
Intentional.
But
Wow.
this is a movie made in 2002.
Yeah.
Where your audience hasn't grown up. Most of them probably don't have that point of reference for those movies.
Yeah.
So to them, is just like, that's just shitty acting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Man, I feel like Lucas is always experimenting.
Yeah.
But you don't
do that with billion-dollar franchises.
Yeah. Are there two groups of people? Because I'm one of the people that I only like the saga. I don't even consider personally. I'm like, yeah, I just forget those 7, 8, and 9 happened. I hate them so much.
Well, that's how I am with this movie.
So that's so interesting because I think there are those two types of Star Wars fans. Because I know there's fans that love the new terrible movies. I hate them so much. I could go
again.
ham.
Me and Will at some point probably will, depending on the success. Well, not even depending on the success. Even if we're just talking into the void right now and no one's listening to this, we'll do those movies at some point.
Oh, even Force Awakens.
That's the best of them.
I would agree with that. Okay, that's a different statement.
I'll give you the fact that it's probably a copy of A New Hope.
It's a copy. It's a bad copy. And
anyway, okay, we're chasing the assassin.
Yes.
And for some reason, it's some kind of changing, morphing chameleon. They track it to this bar, and like her face turns into something. And then we're in this bar, and we're looking for her. And someone tries to sell Obi-Wan death sticks.
Would you like to buy some death sticks?
Want some death sticks? You don't want to sell me death sticks. I don't want to sell you death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life. I want to go home and rethink my life. And so, do they do the thing where they cut off somebody's arm in the bar or not?
Yes. It's Anakin, right? Anakin cuts off the arm. Because
it looks like she's about to sneak up on one of them.
Yeah.
They do something.
Yes.
So they end up in the alley, I think.
Yeah. They bring her out.
And I can't remember, is it before or after she gets shot by that dart from Django that she starts to change? Or I think it's after, like, because that's what...
It's after she gets shot. Exactly.
Turns into some frog-looking thing.
In the chase, you kind of see her turn. You kind of see that.
Why? Why does she need to be...
I don't know. It's cool.
Because it starts out as this Asian lady, and then she turns into this frog person. So, we know that there's a second bounty hunter out there, or a second assassin, primary assassin, I'll say. Where does it go from there? Because I literally forgot.
So, Obi-Wan takes the saber dart.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's right.
And that's where he goes to the council. He gets, asked to get down, get this killer.
Mm-hmm.
And Anakin still is on the task of protecting the senator. So really, Obi-Wan is the one who's technically leaving the first assignment that they both were on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Anakin is asked to bring her back to Naboo.
That's right. Yeah, this is where our two heroes get split up, even though we've only seen them interact for 15 minutes, I guess, at this point.
Yeah. Obi-Wan, he goes to the library essentially and discovers this Camino.
Yeah.
Which is not on any map. It's missing from the Jedi archives. Who removed it?
And that's my thing. Why this elaborate backstory with the Sifo-Dyas and he goes out because he knows that there's a war coming. Who told him this? How does he know this? How does he get Jango Fett to volunteer? There's just a big question mark. Because let's just discuss it. We'll discuss all with this movie because it's chopped up so much. And it jumps back and forth between the two. We'll cover all the Obi-Wan stuff, and then the Padme and Anakin stuff, and then we'll talk about the end, because that's where they intercept at the end.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan goes and talks, probably one of my favorite characters. If there's any bright spot in this movie, it's Dexter Jettster in the 1950 space diner in the middle of Camino, or not Camino, Coruscant.
Oh, man.
Oh,
he is
Obi-Wan. It's all in the Rishi maze. It's made by them cloners. Not how good your manners are, but how big your pocketbook is.
We're so good at those. It's not fair.
And it's another frog man with a mustache. every alien looks like a frog in this.
Okay. A lot of the aliens are weird.
Yeah.
You gotta give it to them for creativity. There's variety.
Sure.
It's pretty cool.
So Obi-Wan eventually, he goes to Yoda and it takes a kid to say, because someone deleted it from the archives. And
from the mouth of babes.
Yeah. I was like, duh. So he jumps in his little Jedi fighter thing and he flies out to, like, is it in the unknown regions? Maybe just, I mean,
think it's hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
It's just removed from the record.
And it's just constantly raining for some reason. So
Okay. Science nerd.
Yeah.
There is a storm on Jupiter. It's a huge, like, thunderstorm, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
That has been going, like, it's been raining and whatever. I don't know if there's rain. For longer than Earth has been around. So I think it's plausible that you can have a planet that has constant rain.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's a science nerd thing. I don't really know a lot about it. I know that it's a thing.
So Obi-Wan eventually finds the cloners, who are these long neck, light blue.
Light blue.
Yeah.
They were like some of my favorite characters to play as in Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
Back on the old computer, the PC. No, but they're honestly, they're the most traditionally alien looking like aliens in Star Wars. But they're surprised. They're surprised that Obi-Wan doesn't know about this project because they think the Jedi's have ordered it. Did the Jedi's actually order it, or was that a lie? I can't remember.
It was Sifo Dyas, Master Sifo Dyas, and that's my other issue. Who is this guy, and who told him to make an army? How does he know there's a war coming?
Yeah.
So we find out that, and there's Jango Fett offered up his DNA to be cloned.
Something like that.
Yeah. And
they're aged very, very quickly.
Yeah, and he kept one for himself, who ends up being Boba Fett.
Yes, who is not aged quickly.
Which is the dumbest way, just the dumbest origin of the dumbest character, which the only reason he became awesome, I take that back. I take it back. Tamira Morrison made that character 100 times better in Mandalorian when he shows up in that. Well, he plays Boba Fett. Because that would be, he's a clone. The grown-up version of himself is basically his dad. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, it's still a dumb origin.
Oh man, I think it's kind of cool. It's like the arrogance of this character. He wants a clone of himself.
Okay.
I don't made in his image.
Oh boy.
Jango Fett, ladies and gentlemen.
And so,
arguably one of the most powerful characters.
Obi-Wan tries to ask him questions because he's basically figured out he's the assassin that shot the dart on the other assassin. This is how dumb this movie is. He was the assassin that flew away in his jetpack after the dart hit the other assassin that could change. And so a squeaky fight ensues in the rain. And when I say squeaky fight, it's because everything's wet and everything is a smooth surface and all you hear is squeak, squeak, squeak. I don't know if that was added in post or if that was the actual audio they got of them sliding up and down those wet things.
Another scene that I think is so freaking cool.
Oh my god.
It's like Preston is like taking off his headphones right now. He can't take it. No, it's so cool.
Why is it cool, Will?
I think it's got this film noir element to it. And I love the rain. I love that, like, the blue lightsaber and how it stands out in darkness, you know, and just the battle between the two of them is so cool. And I kind of like that Obi-Wan's on his own for a bit of this movie.
You know what? That's not the problem for me. The problem is the excessive amount of cutting back and forth between
the two of them.
These two. It's
so
like,
you're not with one story.
Let's freaking follow one.
Sure.
So, we fight in the rain.
Yeah.
He gets away. Obi-Wan, just like Spider-Man with a spider tracer, throws a Jedi tracer onto Slave One.
Yeah.
I guess that's Slave One. It looks like Slave One.
Yeah.
Why you call your ship Slave One, I don't know. So we track him to, what is that called? What is that planet called?
Oh, I got it. It's Geonosis.
Geonosis. And in Geonosis is the second dumbest character I've ever seen in my life, which is an old man alien with wings and a cane. That and Christopher Lee is just on this set, probably surrounded in a blue screen, and he's talking to this alien, and you think I'm over exaggerating. I'm not. That's basically word for word language. And
they're just making it up. They're in the recording. They're in the recording room.
Yeah,
and they're just making it up.
And that we'll pause there. This is where we leave Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. Here and we're gonna agree at this.
We follow probably the two horniest people in the galaxy at this point, wouldn't you say?
Wow. Yeah. I read a description. I'm reading it right now on my computer. It says, meanwhile, Anakin and Padme have been spending much time together on Naboo, enjoying each other's company, and here it is, and playfully frolicking in the fields. This is definitely cheeseballs.
That's basically what they do. They ride on the back of this swollen cow. Is this where the sand line comes in? No, that's when they eventually end up on Tatooine again, because we end up in Tatooine in this movie.
Here's the issue.
Yeah.
Romance, I think that, chick flicks, they have romance in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it can become cheesy, but it's balanced by humor. It's like, okay, we're not being...
And written better.
Yeah. There's no humor to this. It's trying to be romantic, but it's doing it with such hyperbole and such intense, they're in this, it would be one of the 7 wonders of the world, kind of most visited tourist sites if it was on Earth. This, is it a real place where they filmed this?
No, it's on another blue screen.
It's a blue screen. That's what I thought. There's no way it exists. So they're in the middle alone. They're in the middle of this beautiful field, and they're literally surrounded by Niagara Falls. It reminds me of, so I like art. Okay?
Yeah.
I like Christian art particularly.
Yeah.
I don't like Thomas Kincaid paintings, which are the most popular Christian art in America.
So if I've been in a white Christian lady's home, I've probably seen it.
Exactly.
Cool.
And you can visualize it. It's basically, it would be like maybe there's the cross or maybe there's the tomb, but it is surrounded by the most impossibly beautiful sunset you've ever seen.
Okay.
Flowers are filling the painting. It is just complete, and he paints more than just that. He paints like houses and these majestic valleys that it's fake, and I think that's what's going on here. Is it's far too over the top that it's actually not romantic. It's just cheesy, Do you know what I'm trying to say here?
I do, because speaking of over the top and cheesy, I have what I alluded to earlier, word for word, the exact dialogue.
Oh my gosh.
When they're by the fire.
Okay. For me, as someone who likes this movie, this is where I kind of get embarrassed and kind of hide my face a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Anakin. From the moment I met you all those years ago, not a day has gone by when I haven't thought of you. And now that I'm with you again, I'm in agony. The closer I get to you, the worse it gets. The thought of not being with you, I can't breathe. I'm haunted by the kiss you should never have given me. Because they kissed at this point. My heart is beating, hoping that kiss will not become a scar. You are in my very soul, tormenting me. What can I do? I will do anything you ask.
This is one of those bad romance novels that you find, in a family member's, extended family members,
Yeah. Well, guess what? There's more.
And it's like, I should never have found this.
Yeah. If you are suffering as much as I am, please tell me. Padme. I can't. We can't. It's not possible. Anakin. Anything is possible, Padme. Listen to me. Padme. No, you listen. We live in the real world. Come back to it. You're studying to become a Jedi. I'm a senator. If you follow your thoughts through to conclusion, it will take us to a place we cannot go, regardless of the way we feel about each other. Anakin. Then you feel something. Padme. I will not let you give up your future for me. Anakin. You're asking me to be rational. That is something I know I cannot do. Believe me, I wish I could wish away my feelings, but I can't. Scene.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts so bad.
That is the worst scene of any movie that has ever been put to film.
It's a Thomas Kincaid painting.
Mm-hmm.
It's so over the top.
I'll take the sand line that comes up, and we'll just fast forward to the rest of Naboo, because that's basically the only thing that happens.
Yeah. It's so sad, because if the dialogue had been written differently.
Yeah.
There's some...
Other than there's a pear that they cut up, and then he cuts it, and then he floats it over to her, and she's
CGI.
obviously eating nothing. And
or CGI in all 6 movies.
So basically, Anakin has a premonition, a dream.
Yes.
That his mother is dying.
Yeah.
Which, of course, turns out to be true.
Yes.
So, we hop in the ship. Go back to good old Tatooine. I think we said that we didn't go back no, we never go back in episode 5, but we go back in this movie.
Oh, yeah, it's only 5. It's only 5.
And we find out that our good friend Watto, who has a hat now, he's got a little hat.
Yeah,
and a beard.
A cowboy.
Yeah. He has sold Smee Skywalker to a moisture farm, or whatever that is, Lars.
Who ends up marrying her.
Yes, who has ended up marrying her, and he did free her, to his credit. And it's revealed that this is Owen's father, Uncle Owen, from the very first Star Wars movie, from New Hope, Episode 4, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I bring up again belated media when what if the prequels were good?
Yeah.
They brought up the fact that when they're talking about the pod race and there's all of Anakin's friends standing around there.
Yes.
One of those should have been Owen. As a kid.
That would have made sense.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And so.
Yes.
It would have been like, this guy has known Smee because their kids are friends.
Yeah.
They're best friends.
Yeah.
Why else would Obi-Wan drop off, spoiler alert for the final movie, would Obi-Wan drop off Luke and Leia and he wouldn't be confused like, why are you bringing me these kids?
Yeah.
Whose kids are these? Who?
Exactly.
You mean that dude that showed up that one time and killed all those sand people?
Yeah. That's not going to work.
And basically Anakin murders... Okay, yeah. So we find out Shmi's been kidnapped.
Yes.
By the sand people.
Yeah.
So he goes, and I guess that's the first hit of the dark side.
Yes. Because
with his theme, there's a little bit of Darth Vader's theme sprinkled in there. This is his slow
John Williams
decline to the dark side.
Oh.
That's the one thing. The one good thing through all of these movies is the score, and because it's John Williams,
it's incredible.
And so now Anakin he finds the Sand People, and I slaughtered all of them. And his mother dies in his arms, and
this is the conversation.
Yeah,
because this is where I'm like, okay, this is a really important platform, important for Anakin.
Sure.
So the way I look at it, going back to the first episode.
So far, what we know about Anakin is he's horny and he loves his mom.
He's been a slave. He's a slave in the first one, and for the past 10 years now with the Jedi Order, he has felt enslaved in a different way, and he wouldn't identify it like that. He doesn't know. He just feels that he is kept back. He's not trusted. He feels there's no freedom to feel. There's no freedom to act for what he perceives as right or good. We could sum that up with a lack of power or a lack of control. And that's been a motif throughout his life before he becomes Darth Vader, is he has never had the power to save the ones he loves, or even to save the nobody. Because in the prequels all throughout, we see him really try to be kind of like a Superman, kind of going to save people that other Jedis are just leaving behind. He's concerned about clones dying. Episode 3 begins with him wanting to desert the mission to save some clones. Episode 1,
basically their whole purpose is to be cannon fodder.
Exactly. And he sees it differently, and he cares about his droid. He has but really you could sum it up with, he has the heart, he has the love, he has the feelings, the emotions. He really wants to act. He has the will to act. He has really the strength to act too, to do something about it. But there's all these things prohibiting him. So in a way, he doesn't have the complete power to act. And that's the allure of the dark side for him, is that it finally gives him the control and the power that he's never been granted.
Mm-hmm.
I think what a good master would have done is, because here's, the double standard is Qui-Gon, I don't know about Qui-Gon maybe, but Obi-Wan, he keeps calling others Anakin to the code and just to stoicism essentially, while not, following the code himself.
Yeah.
I think Qui-Gon does the same. So that's, maybe a good master would have said, okay, Anakin, here is how you can use these your love. Here's how you can use your attachment for good. Here's how you can use your anger for good. And yikes, that doesn't fit into the philosophy of Star Wars.
Mm-mm.
I would say in the real world, health would be not ignoring or suppressing anger, but learning how to express it in a way that is healthy and helpful.
So, we're back in Owen. What's his last name? Lars?
Yes, Lars.
We're back in Owen Lars's dad's house, and
Yes.
Anakin has brought his mother back, I presume, to bury her. Did they bury her or did they burn her?
I think they burned her.
That's what we do in Star Wars, right? We burn people when they die.
Yes, and it's
'Cause we
very,
did that with
very
Qui-Gon.
Eastern tradition. You become one with nature again with the burning. Yeah.
So we do that, and then we're down in the workshop, the very workshop where Luke was cleaning 3PO and R2 at the beginning of A New Hope, and messing with the same tools that Luke was. And he just bursts out in this fit of rage. Does he talk about sand? When does he talk about sand?
It's on Naboo.
It's on Naboo. We skipped over it.
The frolicking.
Yeah. That was before the frolicking.
Okay, yeah.
Then after the frolicking was when they're around the fire and we talk about the kiss that haunted me or whatever. But we get the first flash of what soon is to become Vader.
Yes.
The only thing that makes the scene any good is that flash of the Vader scene is has his anger intensifies.
Yeah.
If there was no music behind it, it just sounds like a whiny little kid having a hissy fit. Which is common among the Skywalker men. They're all a bunch of little whiners. Ben Solo included. But I was going to go to Tossie Station to pick up some power converters.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, you're making a point that I want to make. Is people are surprised at like Anakin's whininess.
Yeah.
But it's like, look at Luke.
It's in Luke's very first scene.
Exactly. Luke is maybe even a little whinier in New Hope.
Yeah. Because I think Mark Hamill was 20 at the time, 21.
Yeah. And, that's also the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Very
70s hair in that movie.
Yeah. But, like, the whole concept of, I don't know, but anyway, Anakin is just like Luke.
Yeah.
So.
But, after all this, we get a distress call. Obi-Wan is on Geonosis.
Yeah.
So we fly to Geonosis, and somehow... Oh, yeah, 3PO's been with us through this. Well, no, we pick up 3PO after this because he's somehow got his gold covering on at this point. Who knows? It's the Maker! So in...
Hasn't he been in the most Star Wars movies?
He's been in every single Star Wars movie.
Anthony Daniels.
Yeah. His whole career, like if you look at his IMDb, his whole career is just C-3PO. In true Rosencrantz and Guildenstern fashion. And that's my theater education coming out again. Those are kind of like the two comic relief folks in Hamlet. Mm-hmm. They go through this madcap Three Stooges jaunt through this factory where 3PO's head gets taken off and put on a battle droid, and a battle droid gets put on 3PO's body, and it's silly. It's like The Hobbit. It's like a live-action cartoon. I'm like, we've gone from a supposed to be serious existential crisis of killing other species to, oh, it's a wacky little trip with two robots through a factory. What are we doing? What is this? And somehow Padme and Anakin end up on the assembly line, and it's just like a long series of nothingness to where they end up kidnapped and in this gladiator ring, and that's where we end up with Obi-Wan again. So everyone's back together.
I'm gonna
confess. And then Padme all of a sudden falls in love when they're getting taken out there.
She was already in love. There's maybe an element of nostalgia for me with this movie because
you think?
I think the conveyor belt scene is kind of cool.
It's the dumbest thing. I told you, it's the dumbest, it's stupidest, idiotic.
I remember being
I don't like
a kid, and I would so me and my friends, we had pool noodles that we would use for lightsabers.
Yeah.
And it was so fun. I remember being a little kid, and I would just jump from one couch to the other, avoiding the the blades and stomping things and the lava coming out of the giant cup.
So they get taken out into a gladiator ring. No, go ahead.
Is there some necessity in showing how all these droids were built? Contrast to clones.
I mean, maybe you could already infer that they built these things. I just assumed that they were built in a factory. They're robots. So we end up, the gang's back together, but we're chained up. We're getting sacrificed to these animals.
Yes.
Why they don't just go ahead and kill them, don't know. I guess it's movie logic at this point.
Entertainment, yep.
So we're chained up, and Padme's the first one to get out. Yeah, she's the first one to get out the chains. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, she has a crop top.
George Lucas.
She gets scratched by a tiger, and it makes a perfect crop top.
I agree. I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. George Lucas is gross. to be honest.
You think?
Yeah, he's a gross man.
Yeah. And obviously they make it out. They end up controlling the animals. I remember Anakin uses a mind trick on the tri-horned monster there.
Yeah.
We get out and we cut back. Jango Fett gets beheaded by Samuel L. Jackson.
Mace Windu?
Mace Windu.
He's got an issue with killing people.
He has bad motherfucker written on his lightsaber.
Wait, really?
Yes.
That's true?
Yes. He still has that lightsaber to this day. And it's a reference, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
He has the wallet that says bad motherfucker. Bad motherfucker is written on his lightsaber. And he still has that to this day. The prop that he used in the movie.
So in the movie, if you zoomed in close enough, could you see that?
Probably.
Oh, and I heard also that he demanded a purple lightsaber.
He did. He's like, I've seen blue, I've seen green. Let's make a purple.
Yeah.
He's the only Jedi with a purple lightsaber.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
It's really sick.
Disney Plus, Mace Windu series. He lived. Anybody can live.
Yeah.
He fell out a window. We didn't see a body. But we'll get to that.
He became a hermit too.
He did. Sure. Why not?
Interesting.
Oh, we found out that this... Also, side note, one of these... This group of evil guys is made up of different allegiances. One of them is the Techno Union.
What?
Go back. It's literally called the Techno Union. That's literally how he talks.
Techno Union.
Techno Union.
Dang, I did not realize that. I'm looking here. They have a lot of the Jedi named that were in that battle.
Yeah. The only one I know is Mace Windu.
Yeah, me too.
Because the rest of them end up dead.
Yeah.
Oh, we find out that this group of bad guys, they have a hologram plan of the Death Star. Ooh. They can't know what we've been building. Here's the Death Star. You see it? You remember that other good movie?
Slight aside.
Yeah.
So, the prequels,
yeah,
I think, complement the original trilogy. Because it's all about the original trilogy.
Oh,
that is the heartbeat of Star Wars. Everything flows from those three.
There is no these without those.
Exactly. Nothing else exists without those. That's why I don't understand people that have just seen the new Star Wars movies and think they've seen Star Wars.
Most of them are kids.
Yeah. It's just like, it's not Star Wars.
That's their Star Wars.
So the prequels, I think, complement and really play to that story. But when you have them literally in The Force Awakens be able to turn a planet into a super Death Star thing.
Yeah.
It just ruins. It doesn't add. It doesn't complement.
Talking about Rogue One, probably one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm.
Did Jyn Erso, was that his name?
Jyn Erso.
Or Jyn Erso. Was that his name or was that her name?
Her name.
Her name. What was her dad's name?
Something Erso.
Mr. Erso. Yeah. The one who created the Death Star.
Yes.
Was that his plans?
No. Who comes up with that?
Right.
That's really complicated stuff. And this happened a long, long time ago.
Right.
The Death Star is a big, big deal.
Yeah.
And when they make the second Death Star,
yeah,
they don't make a new model.
No.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same plans. They're remaking the same Death Star.
Yeah. We've perfected it. We just need to cover this one vent.
Exactly.
But
and it takes them years.
Yeah.
It takes them a long time to make one of those. And maybe even that one was already being built.
What's the time difference between Empire and Return?
It's been a while.
A couple of years? 2 years?
Potentially.
So they've only got it literally quarter of the way built in 2 years.
And in Force Awakens, they don't have the might of the Empire. They don't have any of the resources.
Yeah.
And they're able to turn a freaking planet into a super Death Star.
Well, they can also conjure up millions of Star Destroyers under the ice.
My disbelief is no longer suspended.
Uh-huh.
I am just disbelieving.
Yeah.
Let me just say that's a reason I like the prequels.
Yeah. And so after all this, Yoda shows up with the clone troopers. Question, where'd they get those ships? Because all of a sudden Yoda did Yoda make a trip out to Kamino?
I know
you want to introduce the clone troopers in this movie.
Maybe those are being developed on Kamino.
All the ships and the guns.
I doubt it. It doesn't seem like
it's like Yoda shows up out of nowhere with these clone troopers.
Yeah. I think it's
I mean, if you just have a scene like maybe They load all these stuff onto this huge barge thing. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Like a troop carrier, and then you just hot-footed across the galaxy using hyperspace. Why not?
Yeah.
And you're there. But
Yeah.
it's just Yoda shows up on this dropship with clones in uniform. They already know their ranks. They've got ships.
Well,
I guess their rank is they just listen to the Jedi.
Yes, they're kind of programmed to just follow orders.
Yeah.
And they don't have free will. It seems. Sad.
And it ends... Oh, no, it ends with another lightsaber battle. I laughed out loud. Like, Count Dooku... We haven't talked much about Count Dooku. Basically, it's the Emperor's replacement for Darth Maul.
Yes.
Count Dooku, former Jedi, was the teacher of Qui-Gon Jinn in summation, and he's basically just a footnote.
Yeah. He doesn't last long.
He's a placeholder for Darth Vader. Christopher Lee, amazing actor.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And so Anakin and Obi-Wan decide to fight him together. And Anakin, of course, runs into the fight, gets beat up.
And, this is an example, say, of when someone should have not led with their feelings.
Yes. And Anakin does that a lot.
And there's the balance.
Because you end up with your hand cut off.
Yeah.
Hand gets cut off, and then Yoda shows up. Okay, so Yoda needs a cane to walk. He's constantly walking with a cane, limping along.
Yeah.
But once that lightsaber comes out,
yes,
it's like automatic physical therapy. Like he's good to go. I can flip and jump around.
Reserving his energy, maybe. I don't know.
Did someone specially make that lightsaber that little and to just
come out just as much as he needs it to?
Well, since Jedi make their own lightsaber, I assume he would have made it. But it's like, how do you and it's just poor Christopher Lee's just like poking at who knows what on the ground,
right?
And Yoda's just flipping all over the place.
Oh my gosh, it was, yeah.
But we're getting close to wrapping it up here. So Count Dooku escapes by detaching like a stone or piece of equipment and tries to drop it on Obi-Wan and Anakin sitting off in the corner. Yoda stops it. Count Dooku gets away, and it ends with the Imperial March. The last shot is the Imperial March of all the clones lining up and getting in a ship, going to fight the Clone Wars.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Final thoughts?
Well, we are starting to see, we just see the subtle plan of the Sith.
Yeah.
Developing here and coming almost to fruition.
Seems like nonsense to me. It seems like a bunch of people just doing stuff.
And that's the subtlety of it. Everything is in place for the dark side to take over.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a good movie.
1 out of 10 just for the music. I hate it. I don't like it. Get it out of here.
I will give this movie a 7 out of 10.
Okay. So that is the conclusion of Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Second episode of Second Take Movies.
Good movie.
Is it bad? You decide. We talked about it. We gave our thoughts. It's up to you to make a decision.
We'd love to hear your thoughts too.
Yeah. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Second Take Movies. Both places. And we will see you for Will's last episode. Hopefully not last for this podcast, but last for right now for Revenge of the Sith. Have a good day.